preparations for Sunday's game, the third one here in the week? How's the team navigating, just preparing for a rival that also needs points?
No, obviously we know what point of the season we're at, and we understand where we are in the table. But also important, we still want to end strongly for an in-state rival and do something special at least towards the end of this year for our fans. So although we're recovering from the last game, we're definitely getting ready for Sunday as well.
You've had a lot of success against the Texas teams this season. What's been key to that, and what's the key for that to continue here on Sunday?
I mean, we know, again, I realize the significance, at least for our fans, playing against other Texas rivals. So I think it's just important to give that extra. It doesn't mean that you don't give extra in other games, but knowing what these games mean to our city, obviously want to go in there and give it more than sometimes what even you have in the tank.
Thank you for that. Corey, go ahead.
Hey, Fafà, obviously the rivalry with Dallas has been ongoing for years with Houston, but Austin is just beginning. I guess, in what ways, if any, have you felt that become a rivalry on the field with Austin or off the field?
I think obviously since preseason we kind of felt it. Like things got chippy on in that game, and then you look throughout the season. Obviously, you see on Twitter and social media what Austin fans say about our attendance at our stadiums or different things. But at the end of the day, the results are what's important, and to get our fans on our side, obviously, we know we have to continue to get wins, but we know what this may mean to them, so we want to continue to beat our rivals as well, knowing that obviously mathematically playoffs is no longer an option. We want to give them that satisfaction at least.
Does it hit a little bit of different in a rivalry game, like when you step on the field or when you score a goal?
Definitely. Like I said, for our fans, it means a lot, and it does for us as well. So to produce something special in those games and try to get a road win this weekend would mean a lot.
Thanks.
Victor, go ahead.
Hey, Fafà, if you can elaborate, obviously you've mentioned it already, Edgar mentioned already, played well in these games. What do you remember about that last trip to Austin? Obviously not the result you guys wanted, but it seemed like you guys were coming back, you got in your groove, that you can bring to this game, and obviously feel like you guys can take away the result. And of course, with the win, Houston would clinch the Copa Tejas, give that bragging rights to the fans.
I believe, if I recall correctly, we had an injury and a send off in that game, and so we feel that we didn't get a fair shot at grabbing all the points we wanted there, but we still showed a lot of fight in that game if you look back at it and try to keep ourselves alive in that match. So now going over there, we want to start out with a clean slate from minute 0 to the 90th and plus. So I think if we have all 11 on the field and all of our guys, we can go away with 3 points and bring something special back to our fans.
Yeah. Just overall, what has this season meant to you? Obviously, on the field for the team, it hasn't been the best results, but for you, it's been one of the most productive.
Yeah, I think individually it's been good, stat-wise as well. I tweeted something yesterday that obviously I wouldn't say was bugging me, but you get overlooked as a player for long enough that you're going to have to say something because other people aren't doing it. This is probably my 3rd season out of 5 where I'm the leading American winger goal scorer. So you do that 3 out of 5, where one season was a COVID year and then another season we played under a formation where there were no wingers, so I had to kind of play everywhere. But you take those 2 seasons out, and for 3 seasons I've done it. For me, this is nothing new, and it shouldn't be anything new for the league or for people that have watched me play in this league. But people are going to decide to hype and talk about who they want, and that's fine. But with social media now, I have access to be able to say what I have to say as a player. And obviously, I don't play for stats. I play to win. Sometimes my stats may suffer because of it, but at the end of the day, I do everything that I can for my team. And if that means tracking back to make a tackle or scoring a tap-in or scoring a rocket or a header, whatever it is, I'll do it. And and that's always been my mindset. That's the way I was taught to play, and I'm always going to do that. If I can get double digits every year, great. And at the same time, if I can help my team win in other ways, great as well. So I'm happy with how I've done, obviously, as a player this year. But it shouldn't be a shock to a lot of people, and it's not a shock to me.
What do you think has led to your success, especially this season? Is it just, TAB system? Do you think that fits you better? Or is it just, different, something different about this year? Houston, what's maybe a couple of factors you can point to?
I think a lot has to do, obviously, with being wanted. I had that feeling very much so with Jim Curtin back in Philly, and I'm feeling it again now with Tab. The freedom to express myself, not just on the field, but also as a human being, and having that understanding with my coach is very important. And I feel that with Tab, he played this game at a very high level and one of the best American players to ever play. And now I have the opportunity to play under him, and it's not something I take for granted. I think he's a great coach, and he's been very helpful for me as a player. And sometimes it's not just tactics; it's just having that understanding with your coach, and also with the locker room that we have a good group of guys, and I'm thankful for that. We have a great staff. I'm happy in this city, so I think that leads to individual success as well.
How much pride, because it seems like you do take some pride, do you have in being one of the top domestic, the top American players in the league, a league based in the United States? And do you think there is enough opportunity in this league nowadays for the American player?
Yeah, I think there's opportunity. Is there as much hype? No. I can tell you now, if I was an Argentinian player or a Brazilian player, people would say, "Oh, he has such great flair." If I was Argentinian, they'd say he's such a tough player and so technically sound and really is a danger. But instead, I get dismissed as a defensive winger, and people, just throw that into the shadows and rather talk about somebody else who may even have less stats. And when my stats are not as high, people throw away the performance and say, well, his stats aren't there. Now I have both, and it's still not talked about. So when you look at the hype around maybe certain American players, I think people pick and choose who to talk about and when to talk about them. Is there a lot of positive around my name? Sure. But for what I've done in this league so far and for what I do week in and week out, not enough. And that's not just me, that's also other players that I rate at a high level. And I feel I've done a lot in this league as well.
Last one from me, just I know you put it out in your tweet, it's not about the national team, but I do want to ask you about, it is a very congested national team pool at the moment, and obviously it's gone younger. But have you received a call from the national team, from Greg Berhalter, just to, know if you're, somewhere in the picture and obviously what you'd like to be, especially as there's a World Cup next year?
I mean, obviously as a player, having the season that I'm having and the ones from before, I would have expected to be incorporated and involved a bit more. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone that way. And like I said before, I'll restate it. That tweet wasn't meant for that, and it didn't have to do with national team. However, obviously, it would be an honor to be able to jump back in and fight for a spot, and show what I can do on that level, and help the team going vertically and being a dangerous wide player. I think I'd be a great option in more with my speed and my skill set, and also finishing ability. And I'd also bring experience to the group. It is a young group full of talent, so I'm not. It's not that I'm not aware of that, but I think if you look at James Vardy's career, if we look just at age, he wouldn't have set the records he set in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think it's just about who's in form, who's doing well, and I'm going to keep doing my best to get an opportunity. If it's given to me or not, I'm not in control of that. And if it's God's desire in my life for me to go back to national team, I'll be more than happy and go there running and giving my all for the crest and for my nation. But apart from that, I don't have that control.
Thanks, Fafà.
I think we'll close on that. Fafà, thank you very much.
Can I have
Thank you,
one
guys.
more? Can
Oh,
I get
yes,
one
go
more?
ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Sorry. Tab's contract is going to be up, and whoever the new GM is, I mean, they're going to have a choice to make. The on-field results obviously haven't been good, but what would you say to the new GM or all the people that are going to be responsible for deciding whether Chad gets a new contract? Can you kind of put into context what he's done that's good?
As a player, I can only tell you that for me personally, it's a joy to play for him. He's a very understanding coach. I've learned a lot from him over this year. It's a player he's an ex-player that has a lot of experience, like I said before. And, I can only say that you don't get that relationship with that many coaches, or that freedom to express yourself as a player with that many coaches. I think, to be honest, many times this year we failed him. And he's going to get the rap for it, obviously, by the fans and a lot of people. But nobody's perfect, but also in a lot of moments in games that we should have clinched 3 points or 1 point. We dropped a lot of points out of lack of concentration or just small errors where we could have taken points. And, it's tough. It's tough for him in that situation. But as a player, I can say it's been a joy to play for him so far. And he's one of the main reasons that I was so thrilled about coming here. And then one of the reasons that I would be thrilled to stay here for the years to come. So that's what I can say as a player. I can't speak on behalf of anybody else, but from Fafa's standpoint, that's what I can say.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we'll close on that.
If I can ask a quick one, what is your necklace? Is that like the Roman Coliseum, or what is it?
Yeah, it's from my jeweler out in Miami, from AJ Jeweler. They just I do a lot of custom pieces. So this one is pretty much a rose growing out of the Colosseo, and it just represents that even in the ugliest places, beauty can arise. And then on the back, I have an Italian, solo I più forti sopravvivono, only the strong survive, and then forza e onore, strength and honor. And then I have Psalm 27, Salmo 27.
Nice. Thanks, Fafà.
No problem.
Cool. Alrighty, we'll close with that. We'll get
Ciao,
started
guys.
here.